Good evening.
Hello, how you
How are
doing?
you? I'm all right. I'm not too bad. Stressful weekend, but that's the joys of security life.
Uh,
What about
it's,
you?
it's been a stressful 2 days. We're going on our family holiday next week, and Rocco fell off his bike yesterday, and we need to take him to have his wrist checked. Gino's been ill, so they've both been off school, and we're meant to be going away in 9 days. So,
The holiday curse.
oh mate, there's too much excitement for it. And now this has happened, but I'm sure it'll all be good. It'll all be good. But been looking forward to the show tonight. I think it's going
Yes.
to be another good show, and it's going to be great to. I guess I think it's going to be a great conversation, shall we say?
I think this is a first. I can't think anyone that's done this yet. So this will be a first for the Parapost network, at least, anyway.
Yeah, I think it'll be a first for me as well. Do you want to give a bit of a description about the guest that we have on this evening?
Well, I'm actually one of his subscribers. I'm a member, so I'm proud to call myself a Beardo Weirdo. I've watched I've watched his channel, so it's interesting. It's actually taught me a lot as well, so I'm quite pleased with what he does. And his gaming channel, when he does his gaming, is hilarious. We've got some great clips of him jumping later on to show. So no, that'll be good. Hopefully, Beardo will enjoy himself.
Yeah,
But
it should
yeah,
be fun.
apart from that. But at the weekend, I had to deal with this. I'll just bring it up on screen. This is what I had to deal with on Saturday night. So
No wonder.
I was security at a venue along the seafront, and the hotel was on fire. It's literally today they've started demolishing it because the fire is now out. But to stop it from collapsing, they decided to knock it all in. So, but at one point we had fire engines from South London all the way out from Southampton and as far as Hastings. It was absolute. So for 6 hours, I was breathing in God knows what from a hotel that was built in the 1900s. So I've had 2 days where I sounded like Kermit the Frog. Joys of security. But
Wow, was everyone all right though?
yeah, everyone got out all right. So yeah, it was very quick. It went up very quick. It started on the third floor, and it went down to the basement, but also up to the roof.
Jesus. I just seen a comment. I think Michelle, was that the Brighton and Hove Hotel?
Yeah, it's the Albion Hotel. Yeah.
Jesus. Well, at least you're all right. That's the main thing.
Yeah, all good, all good. So, shall we bring up our controversial guest then?
Yeah,
Shall
let's
we
do it.
bring up Mr.
Let's have some
Beardo?
fun this evening.
Yeah,
Let's have some fun.
absolutely. So we'll bring up Beardo to the screen.
Controversial.
Evening.
Who else have you got on?
Lovely. Hello, mate. How are you?
How are you guys doing? I'm all right, thank you.
Good. Thank you for taking time out of your day to join us and have a chat. I'm sure it's going to be a good conversation this evening. We've got a fair few people in already. So just a quick run through. Thank you to everyone that's joining. If you've got any questions for Beardo, definitely stick them in the comments, and I'm sure we can get to them. We'll ask him. But yeah, shall we kick off the actual interview and have a chat?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
so
go on, Rob. You go first, my friend.
First question, Beardo, what made you want to start debunking?
It was an accident, if I'm honest. I started watching or reacting to a lot of Nuke Top 5 videos and Slapped Ham, and I just noticed the quality of what was being featured on the top 5 channels just dip in, and it was moving more to TikTok. So I started looking for specific channels, and I found Mindseed, and I was like, wow, this production and the sound design, everything about it was just so perfect. Really enjoyed it. And then I watched this part of an episode where a ball moved, and I was like, hang on, the ball and the two of the balls have moved for a couple of frames, and I've gone back to it since. And one of the guy's hands is caught in the mask that slips, and I just sort of sat there like, it's fake. I've been invested in these guys for a few episodes, and there was always something in the back of my head saying it's too much too often, but then to definitively have caught it and been like, and then it was like every top 5 I looked at after, I was like, there's a wire glint. Oh, there's something else and it just became, there was too much everywhere that I was noticing. Like Big Rob, I worked in security and I worked there for a long, long time, and it makes you more observant.
Yeah,
definitely. For yourself, so you're doing the debunking, but how did you initially get into the paranormal? Was it by accident doing the debunking that's got you into doing paranormal and doing investigations, or did something happen prior to that that's got you into the paranormal?
No, I've always had an interest in the paranormal. I saw stuff when I was a kid. I saw my great grandfather. I was very young, 4 or 6 years old, something. I didn't realize that who I saw was my great grandfather because I'd never met him. I'm pretty sure. I know my mother never met him, and I think my grandmother doesn't remember him because he was so young when he died. I just saw a guy in the bedroom, and it terrified me. My uncle saw the same thing a couple of years before me. Maybe that's why this thing happened to me, was just I'd heard this story maybe, and then my brain recreated it. But to me, it was real. And then it was years later, and my grandmother's going through this photo album. She turns a page, and I'm like, that's the guy I saw. And she was like, that's my father. And I'm like, all right.
Wow.
But yeah, so, and then things like Ghost Watch, and then I know Most Haunted, but those programs came out, and even though I didn't record or make anything for any sort of content, I was doing basically ghost hunts back then. I was going out, and we would go into like abbeys and things like that, just seeing if we could get anything that was happening on these TV shows.
And what did you find? Like, so you've watched the TV shows, and then you've gone and try and, like, maybe in a way recreate what they're doing to see what works and what doesn't. What did you find? Like, does it work as well as what they show on TV, or is it a totally different ball game?
Totally different. I mean, most of the time it was just 5 or 6 of us going out, talking to walls, expecting them to talk back to us, and very rarely do they, but at the same point, I wouldn't say nothing happened. There was always, not always, but on occasion there'd be something, and we'd be like, do you reckon that could have been something from the other side? And it'd lead to a bit of a discussion, so we'd be back out the next weekend to the same place, see if it happened again. And I suppose we were debunking it without realizing, or trying to debunk it without even realizing what we were doing. But yeah, that's what sort of killed a lot of these shows for me, was going out and doing it myself. Like, why can't we have this?
That's the thing. It's very easy to be drawn into something when you see it on TV, because I think the way they film in, and we don't realize that it looks like they get something all the time, but people need to realize they do it over a duration of a couple of days to fit it. But then they've got to narrow it all down to the best bits, and you literally could be on location for 6 hours, for example, and nothing happens at all. That's the real investigation there. Be prepared to not get anything.
Oh yeah, I went to 30 East Drive, the home of the most violent poltergeist in the UK. I actively recorded for 8 hours. I had 8 hours of footage to scrub through, and I came away at the end of it with a 40-minute video with a couple of knocks and a Melrem going off, and it's like, people are like, "Oh, that was dead." I was like, "You should have been there, because 8 hours, 8 hours."
Well, I watched that video only because I'm going there, or we're going there on the 5th of September. So there's 8 of us going up there. So I thought, right, I've stayed away from watching the movie about it, and I've stayed away from watching other people then. And I thought, well, Beardo's not going to lie, so I'm going to watch Beardo's channel. And yeah, I found it interesting, the fact that you were just sitting there, and I was like, well, where's this demonic entity that's meant to be here? Where's the poltergeist? Where's things being thrown at Beardo? But I was like, oh, okay, fair enough.
There was I think it was in one of the videos, but at one point I would like the guys I went with, they were lovely guys and they don't believe in provoking. And I'm like, right, cool, if you don't want to provoke, I'm not going to provoke. But
yeah,
for me, if it's meant to be an evil entity, then I've got no issues provoking that because it's evil. If he was the ghost of a child or something, no, I'm not provoking or shouting at that. And I'm so tempted at times to be like, go on, hit me, throw something at me. And then at one point, I'm like, just push me down the stairs. Go on, do it. You're supposed to be this evil, powerful entity. Push me down the stairs. And, nothing happened. But then does that mean it's not haunted? Well, no, maybe it just wasn't my night. I've seen a video from there and a lot of people were screaming fake. And I'm like, I can't see how that 60-ish year old woman faked that. She run wires up and down the stairs and managed to keep all of that out of sight on a live stream. I doubt it.
Yeah. I've seen the ones with the balls going down the stairs and stuff like that, but they've got cameras at the bottom, cameras at the top. And it's like, well, I think you actually said in one of your videos, unless someone's laying down with a stick, that there's no way they can fake
Yeah,
that.
and the other thing, when you get to East Drive and you're on the landing, there's a step down from the landing that's out of sight of the camera. So if somebody was to lean a stick down, you'd see their arm because they'd have to angle it down, and the camera's looking upwards. You'd see a diagonal arm come in, especially where the doll was, because it was on the opposite wall. It would have been really hard, especially for a woman in that building on her own that would have been live streaming for hours to have pulled that off and nobody see a wire or a stick or a shadow of somebody upstairs. It would have been really, really difficult for her.
Definitely. We're doing the investigation at East Drive. I've been there before, and I've got my sort of theory to what I think. There's the film. There's been a lot of TV programs based on it. Your honest opinion, is it as haunted as what people have portrayed it to be? Or do you think it's just maybe like something residual or not as demonic as what is said?
I'm not psychic, so I can't see what my feelings are when I walked in there. But because you've been there, if you've got a history or the history of the place, your adrenaline sort of kicks you as soon as you walk in. Your adrenaline sort of hits you in the stomach, and you're like, "Oh wow, I'm here." But I never got any sort of negative feeling or dark feeling, or like I was ever in danger or anything like that. But it's one of those places where there was something in the air. Like I felt like I was being watched at times.
Yeah.
And I don't get that very often at all. And it was just like, you watch a lot of shows and people are saying, right, that knocking is clearly the neighbor. And the bedroom that everyone says is the neighbor knocking is the wrong side of the house. It's the side of the house where there's no building on the side of it. Oh, it's kids messing about outside, and obviously we were looking for things like that. Is it as haunted as people say? Not on the night I went. Could it be? There's guys that I trust and I trust implicitly that have been there and have had very real experiences there. There's the thing with Griff for the Ouija brothers with that chest compression. Was it a ghost? I don't know, but it was weird. Really weird to watch somebody get pushed down into a bed.
Wow, well, that's cool.
I see your wife is in the room. So hello, Mrs. Geek.
Hi, wife.
yeah. Did you get your dinner yesterday?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. That's right. Because we were telling you to make sure you ate because she asked about 20 times in the chat.
Yeah, the problem is I get so tunnel visioned into the game. And it's like everyone kept saying you're doing so well playing this and reading chat, and I was like, except the important stuff, food.
Yeah. So with your gaming, what got you into paranormal gaming?
It just felt like a natural crossover. I've always, as a kid, I was terrified of horror movies. A Nightmare on Elm Street traumatized me as a child. I shouldn't have watched it. I was way too young. And then I'm a bit of an adrenaline junkie, riding motorcycles, and I used to, I was in like army cadets, and it'd be, you know, we need somebody to go down the abseil first. And it was always me, the littlest kid there, being like, I'll do it. Roller coasters, theme parks. And as much adrenaline as that gives me, it doesn't give me the same adrenaline rush as being scared does, because I am easily jump scared, really easily creeped out. Not so much in the real world, but by horror films. And then I became desensitized to horror films. And then I played the first Resident Evil and then Silent Hill, and it game changers for me. I got addicted to those games, and every sort of horror game that came out on a console, I was buying it. And then I started on Twitch. I was playing shooting games, and I'm awful at them. Really, really bad at shooting games, but it was fun. I was like, do you know what? I'm going to try this ghost hunting game since I'm into the shows and I go out, and it terrified me. Phasmophobia for the first couple of months terrified me.
It does get you, doesn't it? It does. I've played it a few times, and I wait till everyone goes to bed. And Rob knows me quite well now. Like when I'm on my own, that's where I'm at my, shall we say, like vulnerable. And as soon as something happens, I switch the game off, and then I'm done for the evening. I'm like, that's enough, and then I'm off. But yeah.
Yeah, my wife played it once. We just bought her a laptop because she moderates everything for me. She runs the Discord for me with the other moderators, the Twitch, the Kick, you know, everywhere that I'm live. My wife does the moderating for me and runs the moderating team. And sorry. And she's like, I want to try this Phasmophobia. She puts a headset on, a brand new pair of Beats. She's got a brand new laptop on. And this ghost appears and does this noise. The headset went one way and the laptop went the other way. She's like, I'm never playing that again.
I think I've got a clip of where you're playing the game and she screams in your ear and you just look at her and start laughing. I was like, that's just classic. That's brilliant.
Yeah. We used to, not very often, but now and again, we'd bring Mrs. Geek on Twitch, and I plug speakers in instead of a headset, and it wasn't just the jump scares, because I basically, the more people watch, the more points they build up, and they could use points to trigger jump scares. But then we added farting noises to it, and a couple of times we were looking at each other like, was that you or me? Or all right, actually, it was.
Brilliant. So last week we had Danny Moss on. Yep. And he was chatting about you and that you're going back. Is it this week you're going back?
Wednesday, yeah.
Yeah. So how did you find the hotel the first time you went?
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. The guys were so nice. And when I walked in there, I said to Danny Moss, you sign like a rules, and it's not so much a waiver, but more of a rules, like, look, this is a real paranormal investigation. It's not entertainment. You read all that, and it's about, you know, the team will do this with you, that with you, experiments. You sign that. And I said, you know, just so you know, I'm into the debunking. I've debunked some pretty big channels. And he just looked at me, smiled, and went, I know. Anything you want, have at it. And he let me even like going up there Wednesday, I had a conversation with him today, only a very brief one, and it was like, look, I know it's for your paid channel and all the rest of it. How do you feel about me filming? And he was like, do you bring your equipment, bring your cameras, you can film, doesn't bother us. I'm like, right, brilliant. I mean, how many people invited to Bunker?
Yeah.
You know, I did say, I did say to Danny, I think when we were talking about it, I was like, does that make you a little bit nervous having a debunk? And he was like, no, because I know what I'm doing is real. So that, you know, so just go for it. But yeah, because like we said today, this is different, having someone that actually debunks the paranormal in the way you do it. And I was just like, wow, this is going to be a very different kind of conversation.
Yeah, I mean, he's invited Mark from PSI as well, and I love PSI's channel. I think they're incredibly funny guys, as well as they really know the equipment inside and out, and they've taken methods that people use to investigate and they've put their own twist on it, and I like that. I like that thinking outside of the box. But they debunk as well. I mean, they debunked Smug Puppy within an inch of every video he'd ever done, up until he said for entertainment, and then they were like, right, we're leaving that now.
Yeah.
And Danny's invited them as well. So I'm like, that's a good thing. to have the balls to say, right, I'm bringing 3 debunkers. We don't know who the third one is. We're bringing 3 debunkers up and we're giving them the run of the hotel. You know,
it's really good. So I've watched PSI as well, and I found when they've done the Estes method, like normally it's just the blindfold and the headphones, but they have the red flashy light in your face as well to take. And I thought that was a brilliant idea.
Yeah, they've mixed. Right, they corrected me because it's not the Estes, it's the Gansfield.
Mm.
I think it's the Gansfield with an element of the Estes, but then they've introduced this light with the ping pong balls to just put their own spin on it and try to put something else in there. And I love that. I love thinking outside the box and trying something new and bringing something new to it.
Yeah, definitely. They've definitely changed it up quite a lot, and I thought it was good.
Yeah.
So we have. I have a great clip of you. It was from your latest video, actually.
Right.
Just your intro. I got it this morning because I was like, this is Beardo through and through. Nando hasn't seen this, but this just when I watched your latest Everybody Hates You video, I just got this little segment because I thought it was brilliant, and it does prove a point that the amount of hate that they give you, but all the comments and that they come over, it's just boosting your watch hours and actually helping you out anyway. So yeah, Nando, this is your first time watching this, but this was Beardo's latest intro.
Why is everyone being so mean? And calling me fat and telling me to eat my own poop. And my channel's only got 5k. And my hair looks stupid. And I only reacted to other people's work. Sorry, I was just drying my tears with the ad revenue of you haters. Beardos, boils and ghouls. It has taken me a full week to record a response to this.
That is just like that. I watched that and I sat at home and I was absolutely wetting myself. I thought that takes balls to literally take the mick out of the people that hate you. I think that's brilliant. It's
the only way I can. I used to get really angry at it, and I've been given some advice: stop being angry and laugh it off. And that's what I did. Yeah. To add to that, I went into work today, and my boss, he's dropped a few hints that he's watched the channel. I walked into work today. He sat there pretending to cry, rubbing his eyes with a £20 note, and I went, "Ah, oh, no!" And he was like, "You horrible, horrible, horrible person." And he was like, "Worse than that, my wife is now addicted to your channel, and I had to spend all of Sunday watching you be horrible to people."
Yeah.
When you're doing your debunking videos that you're watching, is it something that you've got to watch over and over again? Like, what is your techniques to be able to debunk before you actually debunk someone's video? What do you do in the background before? Because I think you've got to watch it more than once. You've got to look at different things that they're doing. And
if somebody sends me an email and says you need to look at this channel, then I'll watch it and then record it. For the most part, if it's a team that I already got suspicions about, I will just pick a random video or the newest video in, like, when it comes to some channels that I do quite often, whatever's new, and I will play it. And what you guys see is an edited down version of me watching the same video, and I'll spot something and then I'll rewind it and play it, rewind it and play it. When you watch my video, you'll see me rewind it maybe 2 or 3 times and say, right, this is that, this is that, this is the other, this is right, now I can prove it's this, etc. But in reality, I've probably rewound it 8 or 9 times and proper zoomed in. If it's something I'm not sure of, then I'll take it into my video editing software. Yeah. But now I've started, in a very recent video, I've started to show my editing software because people have accused me of adding things in. And it's not the case. So I've started showing my editing software. There's their video line. There's my video line. There's one audio track. There's not multiple tracks. I haven't added anything just to prove, that, yeah. Because people have said that I've put masks over certain channels' videos to make it look worse than it really is. Like, no, I'm literally playing a YouTube video and I record it on my OBS and you get my reaction to it. And that's all it is. I just edited down into a 20-minute chunk instead of an hour of me rewatching the same thing, because nobody's going to want to watch an hour of me rewinding and, you know, my head going off camera because I'm doing that.
And would you say that you do the debunking more for the entertainment side of it, just to have a laugh with it, or do you do it as an educational purpose as well, to try and educate people on, you know, what you're looking at is not necessarily real? What's your thought process behind doing the debunking?
None of them really. It came from being really, really annoyed of the amount of fake videos that's out there. And then I watch the fake channels, and they have, you know, millions of subscribers, some of them. And then I watch really legitimate, nice guys doing proper paranormal investigating to 4 people, but they doing it twice a week, every week, without fail. And I'm like, where's these guys? Why are people not watching these guys? And then it's like, this is how paranormal investigating is, not what the mass consumption is. And yeah, I do a lot of it now to entertain. When I started, I had no idea that people were going to watch me. I had no idea. I've been a content creation for nearly 5 years. I had different YouTube channels where I was unboxing all the stuff that's behind me, and I've been in bands and all the rest. I never got anywhere with any of it. And then this YouTube was sort of, it was my wife's idea. She's like, look, you're playing horror games. You like going on investigations, because we went down to Margam. We paid for it for my birthday one year to do a ghost hunt down in Margam. Why don't you try and mix them both together and do like top 5 stuffs, but actually what's real, what's fake? And then, yeah, when people started watching it, I was like, really? Why do you want to watch me? I'm stupid, you know? And
the highlight of my week watching your channel, because I will be honest, I've learned quite a lot. Like, I've not to scream like a girl every slight noise now is a big thing, because it just makes it more unrealistic. If you're there every noise, you're going, oh my god, you know, like the Crayola twins.
Yeah. Yeah, you become desensitized to it anyway. And I'm looking at some channels and I'm like, you've been doing this for 8 years and you're still running and screaming.
Yeah.
There's no way. There's no way are you still running and screaming from a bang or even a door. A door slams, you know, to a team that's only ever been out 3 or 4 times. They might run. Me, I run towards whatever's made the noise because I want to know what's caused it. And if I can't see what caused it, potentially that's paranormal. And you just see these same guys for 8 years running out of buildings where we can never go back. And it's like, you can. You can.
You just choose not to.
And it's not that they choose not to, because they're back there 2 months later. We said we'd never return. And it's like, it's all planned.
But if you get 50,000 likes, we're doing all night there. And yeah.
It's a marketing strategy for a TV show. And that's what annoys me is these are TV shows being passed off as paranormal investigations. The ghost hunting TV shows, not a paranormal investigation. A paranormal investigation is not running away, not overreacting. It's trying to work out whether it is something you've misconstrued, whether it could actually be something paranormal, whether there's rodents, bugs, and, you know, and we all get scared. Of course we do. But, you know, there's temper your expectations. But if you're going out every week and every week without fail, you are getting a 40 to 50 minute video put out. And every time you're getting scratched or doors are slamming shut or shadows are peeking corners, then it can't be real, because I see guys that are out there every week in the same locations and they get very little. And it's like, yeah, that's how it really works.
So I'm going to show you a clip. Now, this was from one of my very first investigations that I ever done. And I did become a bit of a dick and I provoked something. Someone tried to say that we faked it, but then when they met me, they're like, oh, you have no fingernails because you eat your fingers. I was like, yeah, that's a bad habit. And I'm holding 2 bits of equipment. But the background of the story is 2 little girls were murdered in this wood. And someone, a medium, basically said it could have been them trying to fight off the person that was attacking them.
Yeah.
It was a different perspective. So it's 2 minutes long. I'm happy for you to debunk it or do your best. All right.
Yeah, we'll give it a go.
Come on, you're not very scary if you're not making out equipment. If you want us to go, do something. Coming from over there.
Mm-hmm.
We mean you no harm. We've just been told that this place is very active with spirits. But if you're a demon, we don't want to talk to you. You have no right to be here.
Someone's coming close. Oh, Rob, your light. You right? Did you get slapped? What happened?
No, something just punched me.
Really?
It felt like someone just throat punched me.
Fucking hell.
Was that you that just touched me? Please do it again.
Really?
One more time and we'll leave. Ooh, motherfucker.
You got it again?
Burning my neck.
Okay, well, should we have a look? Oh, you've got really big scratches, Rob. Right, hang on. Okay, we need to leave.
Okay. Take.
So,
right. Goddamn fake. There was a demon again.
Yeah.
Just before the initial thing hits you, as a bug comes past you.
Yeah.
Now, I'm wondering if that is something that has potentially stung you or bitten you. And then if that's inflamed your skin, and just by, even without your fingernails, just by doing that, you just aggravated that it could have been a bug bite. I'm not saying that's what it was, because that looks like 3 big gouges. I mean, I was watching your fingernails while you were doing it, bro. So you held your hands up when you said somebody accused me of doing that. And you can see you're one of them guys that bites them.
Yeah, I'm
down
terrible.
to the. Yeah. Wow. You know, I'm not going to sit here and say you've staged or faked that. Potentially, was there an insect bite involved and it's just made your skin really tender in quite a quick time? Potentially. Do I think it's a demon? Nah, probably not. But then that's just my belief system, you know?
No.
But it is interesting that bug got so close to you. It could even have come out of your top just before, and while you know you're concentrating on talking to whatever you think is there, you're not realizing this bug is having a good chew on you, and then it's flown off, and you've paused for breathing. You're like, oh wow, like there's something there, but you know, I can't sit here and say that you faked that, because that looked like a live video. There was, you know, for don't take this the wrong way. When something has got a poor quality camera refresh rate and stuff, do you know what I mean? That's not a high-end Panasonic night vision camera. I don't know anything like that, so I'm not talking down to you or anything, if you know what I'm saying. When it's sort of all jumbled like that, if you had hidden something in there or a cut in there, I'd have spotted that a mile off.
Yeah.
Because the pixelation and all the rest of it would give it away, which is how some teams are caught so easy, is they're using the mobile phones and a torch. And then when they make a cut, there's distinct black or white cut. So it's interesting either way.
No, you have to come up to Brighton from Wales, mate, and I'll take you there.
Yeah, I'm up for it. I'll get it to scratch me if I can.
with the debunking, you know, you're debunking people for faith as well. Do you also look at equipment and debunk equipment? Because equipment's evolved so much over the years. As the power's got bigger, you know, a lot more equipment's coming into play, especially like with mobile apps now and everything. Do you look at that and debunk equipment itself, or do you always try it and see what you think?
My biggest issue with equipment is that I've got bits of equipment myself, and it doesn't behave the way a lot of people's does. My REM pod has only ever gone off in 2 locations. My EMF, I think I can count on one hand how many times that's gone off. In my house, it goes off more. So I'm very skeptical of equipment, but then the guys that I enjoy watching don't get a flash on their EMF and go, it's a ghost. They're like, oh, that's interesting. My EMF is spiking, and they'll try to get questions to see if it'll spike in answer to questions. And that's far more entertaining than somebody just going, I got an EMF 5, it's a demon. Because it's not. It's your phone signal. And in a way, I do debunk equipment, but only because I've learned the tricks. I mean, Danny Moss taught me about REM pods and how people are using them. And it's 2-way radios. They'll just depress the button and it'll set the REM pod off.
I think your biggest thing I saw, again, was with a certain group of twins, was where it was their smartwatch that...
Yeah, people are still arguing with me about that. You're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. And I'm like, she's doing that. The screen lights up. The EMF is triggering.
Yeah.
And then the watch disappears. Nobody says anything about it. If they realized that's what was triggering it, they should have said in the video, right, we realized that the lady's watch was triggering it. We've asked her to take it off. The EMF hasn't spiked again. And then I've got nothing to debunk then. But they didn't do that. The watch randomly disappears, and then there's a REM pod going off in the tree. And I was like, it's probably the watch again. That point then, that's my opinion. But while she's doing that, and that watch, every time that watch lights up, the EMF is going off, then I think that's been, to me, that's a debunk. The nook in the tree, all right, that's more of an opinion that I called a debunk, and I shouldn't have. But when I've just seen what they've been doing with that EMF, then why not? Why then are they suddenly going to be real for the rest of that video?
Yeah.
So when you're doing an investigation, like for example, you're going to go to My Haunted Hotel with Danny Moss, and you're going to investigate there. What techniques do you use, or what way do you go about doing an investigation? And if you don't believe the equipment as it is for yourself, what do you do to record evidence and to try and communicate?
It's quite difficult to answer the question you've asked because I don't really get much in the way of evidence. There's certain noises we've picked up, and I'm like, I can't see what that is. And me and Dean went into a care home, and we were getting this cold draft, and I'm like, that can't be paranormal. It's got to be real, and we couldn't work it out. And in the video, it's like 20 minutes later, we find this, and 20 minutes was probably short of how long it finally took us to work out where this little breeze was coming from, because he was moving against the direction of this broken window. And I'm like, how is that happening? And it turns out there was a hole like this big in the ceiling that we couldn't see, and he was funneling air in. But it was like this cold breeze almost on command now and again. And he was like, wow, maybe. And I was like, I can't accept that. We've got to try and work out what it is before I'm happy to say that's paranormal. And when I saw the hole, initially I was like, haha, I've got it. And then it was like, the one thing, and it's a hole in the ceiling.
Gee.
So there was a question back up here from Smith Paranormal. I can't remember because the video was about a year ago, so I'm not sure if in the video there is a clear picture of the neck or not, but feel free to have a butcher's and go through it. I can't remember off the top of my head.
I'll definitely have a look at it.
I always wear big hoodies when I'm out because I don't like creepy crawlies or anything like that. So being in the wood, I was well out of my comfort zone.
Brilliant. You got another question, Rob?
Danny Moss hates the... There we go. This is a good one. Danny Moss gets hate from the cult of orb people when he says it's a bug. People get angry at debunkers. What are your views on orbs?
They fall in line pretty much with Danny and other channels that it's mostly dust, particles, bugs, especially in night vision, because infrared, everything just comes back twice as bright. I mean, I don't know if you guys have ever used a night vision camera, but if you hold it too close to your face, you've got no facial features because it blows you out with the light. It's quite difficult to work with. Before digital cameras, when people were saying they were orbs, it was just dust too close to a lens. On the disposable cameras, the flash would go off. And my wife said to me about it, because she believes a little bit more in orbs and stuff than I do. And I'm like, right, I'll recreate it. And I slapped the curtain and I took a photo with my mobile phone. And I'm like, there you go. There's an orb. Look, it looks like a face. And am I saying that every orb that everyone, if somebody has seen an orb in real time, in real life with their own eyes, they've seen an orange ball, and some people have reported that, then fair enough. That's completely different, because that is something that they can't explain. Maybe it's a firefly. I don't think we have them in the UK, but you know what I mean. If somebody have seen something with their own two eyes and experienced and described it, and then it's backed up with a camera, then that I can understand and got more with. But you look at any of the My Haunted Hotel videos and you watch the sheer amount of dust flying past those cameras. When you're in there, you can't see it with your own eyes. It's just the infrared reflecting dust particles, flies, midges, gnats.
And that's the thing with abandoned places as well, isn't it? Because they obviously don't have a cleaner, and there's stuff falling from ceilings, or there's bugs in corridors. So
yeah, I mean, you could literally do it now. You could literally get your mobile phone out, put the flash on it, just slap your shirt and take a photo once you've done it, and then you'll see an orb somewhere in that photo. But every photo that you take, or for the most part, you know, you've got your friends around, right? Guys, photo, everyone moves. So there's going to be dust, or, you know, dandruff even. They've rubbed against the sofa, which is disturbed dust. So, yeah, the orb phenomena, I mean, most haunted have got a lot to answer for. There's no way they didn't know after, 13 years that it was dust. No way. But it's still like, look at this. Ooh, no, it's dust. You can tell. Some of them, you can even see wings. I've seen people like, this is an orb and there's wings on it. But me and Mrs. Geek were at a castle. We recorded something. And I'm like, I think we just caught an orb. And it's because it was red and it came at the camera. I've had two different debunkers tell me two different scenarios for it. And I'm like, really, I still don't know what that was. You know, logically, it's a bug. That would be the most logical explanation. But somebody said there's red bricks there. It could just be red brick dust that a bug is disturbed because it's come past you. And I'm like, yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
Okay. When out on an investigation, or when you go to these locations, you know, you're trying to find reasons for everything that happens. But is there something that particularly happened that stands out in your mind that you cannot debunk yourself when you've been out on a location? Like, something's happened and you've looked for it and you can't find a reason for it. Yeah. Is there something that sticks to your mind, and can you give us a bit of what happened?
There's two that stand out. One was me and Dean in a place called Boys Village, and we hear music playing. And we hear it with our own ears, and I'm like, I hope the cameras picked that up, and it did. Now, Boys Village has nothing around it but a petrol station, maybe 500 meters away, maybe further. There's nothing else around there. And it sounded like a kid's toy playing. We even knew what, or we thought we knew what the tune was. And we were like, it was a little yellow tape recorder you had when you were a kid. And you put these little plastic records in with notches on the bottom of it.
I think I know you want. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And it was like, it was that tune. And it only played for a couple of seconds. And that's all we heard in real time. When you play the video back, it's like, actually, that's longer. It happens 3 times. And we missed the other 2. Other people have said it's a car alarm in the distance. I'm like, I don't know, changing tone that much and sort of changing direction. I can't see that. And the other one was My Haunted Hotel. We were in the room where they found the sword, or where the sword is. They found the sword there, or it's done up as the sword room, and the EMF responses that we were getting were seemingly in line with question. Now, I know that me and my wife didn't trigger that EMF, and it was sort of questions around the sword were the only things he was answering to. Wouldn't answer me, but he would answer my wife. And I was like, that's not next door's radio only keying when my wife is talking, because they can't hear her. And we came out of there, and I was just like, that. The REM pod was going off as well. And 2 occasions, the REM pod went off, and we heard someone outside the door. And I said this to Brett. I thought, because only Danny and Harry were there, I thought Brett was outside. So I literally ran out into the corridor thinking I was going to catch Brett stood there like, oh, and there was no one there. I've walked around the corner and I can still hear footsteps in front of me, but there's nobody there. And I was like, nah. It was a very surreal experience, and it wasn't down to infrasound or it wasn't down to anything else. It was a succession of events that both me and my wife had at the exact same time. And then I provoked a little bit in the room with a pentagram, and something banged so loud in there while I was drinking. It proper jump scared me, and I sprayed water on my face, and I was like, I hope they didn't see that. And then you hear Danny's voice on the radio. Yes, we did. And yes, we're going to show it.
That's good. And you say about your wife, you do things together.
Yeah.
And you said earlier on she has a different opinion about orbs and things like that. Do you find that, sometimes that you might have a bit of a healthy debate about different things that you're watching about the paranormal?
Very often.
How's that with the both of you then? Like, what does she believe that's different to what you believe?
I don't think it's so much a belief, but she seems to attract things. There seems to be more things happen around my wife, especially in our house. Like, my house is really haunted as a send up of all the fakers that are just sat in their house in their shorts making these fake videos. And we've always said we'll never record anything in this house and then put it up, because nobody will believe it for a start, because I've done the parodies. But people have come around the house and experienced stuff. We just had one of my mods come down for the weekend, very good friend of ours, Chesadoodle. And she's like, did you hear that? And we're like, yeah. What is it? We don't know. It happens quite often, and it's not at any certain time of the day. The house isn't cooling at this time, but there it is. Somebody walking around upstairs, and there's nobody here. Dean, I was trying to teach him how to edit to try and take some of the weight off me. And he sat here this one day, and he looks at me and he went, please tell me you saw that. And I was like, I saw the tail end of it, and it's basically my equipment bag. It's leaning against a concrete wall to my right, and it's leaning that way, and it fell that way. So it's gone against gravity. And Dean was just like, debunk that. And I was like, well, I can't, because it's done the exact. If it had fallen, it should have fallen that way. The bottom slid out. I don't know why it's gone over that way, but yeah. Obviously, I try to debunk as much as I can, and a lot of the time it's to put my wife at ease, because so much happens around her, and a lot of it I can't explain. And sometimes I just stand there with a stupid look on my face, like, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
So we've got a couple of TikTok from some of your friends in shorts sitting at home. So I'll let you just talk us through them once they played. The first one is one of my favorite friends from America. He doesn't like me. I don't like him. So apparently they hear a banshee screaming.
Just when this moment can't get any more disturbing, Aaron says, "This is our way of life." Then a female voice comes out of the woods and says, "No.
It's not a job anymore. It's a way of life. So let's just keep trucking with life, man, because there's nothing we can do about it."
What?
So let's just keep trucking with life, man, because there's nothing we can do about it. What?
I know this sounds crazy, but could this be the Banshee? The female spirit who, when heard, tells you you're going to die, and who Aaron coincidentally heard a few nights ago also scream no?
We were outside just chilling, and all of a sudden we heard this. No!
I just heard a woman say no. Yeah, I just heard a woman say no.
Right. Oh my god. It's a banshee scream. No, really? Because we heard the banshee scream. No, no, you hear the cat go now. Cats make some strange noises, and there's no way they didn't know what that was. And then obviously on their replay, and then they describe it completely different to what was actually heard.
Do you think when they put words to things, so like mind over matter, when someone's watching it and you put the word up and then you hear it, your mind think, oh, it's just said that?
Yeah, they feed into pareidolia. Ghosts of Carmel, Maine does it all the time. I'm hearing absolute gibberish, and I've told people how to do it. When they're saying, right, we're going to play you an audio, turn your back on it and write down what you hear. And then turn around, see what they play, and then once you've read what they've said, you cannot hear anything different.
Yeah.
But you can also hear what you've written down. And it's because they feed into pareidolia, same as some people do with ghost images. Once they show you that outline, you can't not see it, but it's the exact same thing as your mate going, hey, look at that dragon in that cloud. Oh, yeah, there it is. I can see you can't unsee it once it's there because your brain is trained to look for faces in things it doesn't understand. And it's back to our caveman days. And it's the same with voices. We are trained to hear voices.
Yeah. So this one I know you've done on your channel, and I still find it quite hilarious. So yeah, this is Smug Puppy.
What the fuck? Fucking hell.
It was a demon. It was a demon.
It was.
I didn't actually debunk that one. That was, I think, Smith Paranormal was the guy that debunked that. But it's the same trick. The one I did was could you pass me a drink? And then the can floats across but it's the same trick. It's recorded on a green screen. And then it's masked in.
The doppelganger, but she called it Mum.
Yeah. The other thing with those is Parple brought out a video and he basically says, Lainey and Ben, you keep undoing your own editing by walking in front of your masks and all the rest of it. So, if you want a way around it, and he's flippant about it, and in the next video, Lainey and Ben actually do it. He's like, if you cut the mask and then walk in front of it, nobody will know there was a mask there. And that's what she just did. There's a mask until she walks forward. They cut the mask because the bottle's already moved on its trajectory. So she can walk in front of where the mask was because it's no longer there. They recorded a lot of stuff on green screen and then just overlay it. The bottle on the top was probably really there, and he's hit it with his walking stick, but they've masked it out. Same as the carrier bag that appeared in his bedroom that hit him in the balls. I mean, the hitting in the balls was hilarious, but it's like the carrier bag was there the entire time, and at certain points, the shadow of the carrier bag is there before the carrier bag, and the carrier bag handles are actually cut in a straight line where the mask is.
I do feel sorry for his daughter. The next clip is quite, disturbing because it seems to just attack her all the time. That's tongue in cheek, by the way, for the next clip. Anyway, here we go.
Oh, not again.
There's another demon.
Yeah, the demonic bin bag.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the bin bag's pulled with a string or a wire. It moves away, and she's just thrown herself down. I've been less personal with Smuck Puppy lately because I've realised I'm getting a little bit too and it's because they're insulting my belief system is why I do it. But the last time I debunked them, I was like, "Can you stop hurting yourself for views, please? Because it's going to trigger somebody. Could you please stop bruising yourself for views? It's self-harm."
Yeah.
And people don't need to see that. And by all means, if you're going to fake and say it's for entertainment purposes only, crack on with it. But stop hurting yourself and stop showing people you hurting yourself because somebody's going to take it too far.
Yeah. And it's bad because, as you say, I subscribe to your channel anyway, and the last one, I think all her legs were covered in bruises and her arms and everything, and it just doesn't.
Yeah, they were on the wrong side of her body. She got pulled on the stairs on her ass, and she bruised the front of her leg that was in the air. And it's like, yeah, you pulled by your ankle and you've bruised your knee.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need to stop with the hurting themselves for views because there's a video where a knife misses him by millimeters.
Yeah,
and I'm like, either that knife and him were not there at the same time. And the giveaway is that in the door where the knife lands, there's another 8 holes where they've practiced it. But I'm not entirely sure. I mean, I know how he's done it. He's masked it in, and there's 2 separate videos playing at the same time. But there's no mask slip for me to say 100% that's how he did it. In my mind, I know how he's done it. But I'm like, if he was stood there and got one of his kids to throw that knife to stick in the door, and it's missed him by this much, just for views and clicks, that is some dangerous, dangerous stuff. Throwing yourself down the stairs and throwing yourself on the floor, that ain't good.
Maybe the holes came from the flood or the fire that the demon caused, but
maybe
that's another story. So we go away from all that and we go to your gaming now, and you get quite scared in your games.
I do. It's I'm easily jump scared. Not so much for horror movies. My wife will take off out of a chair, and I'm just sat there like I knew that was coming because I've watched so many of them. I know the sound cut. I know what's coming. Hereditary, there was a jump scare in that film, and it got me because they didn't play it like the others. And there was a film, Evil Dead Rise, we watched it the other day, and there was 2 jump scares in that, and they got me. And I'm like, oh, that was well done, fair play. But for the most part, movies don't get me. Games, they do it so well.
Do you think they get you? Because I've played quite a few games, and when you get so drawn into the game, you forget. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but you sort of think you're in the actual game, like you're living that game. And I think, do you think that's what it is, that our brain, where we're so engrossed in it?
Yeah, especially like the games I'm playing where you're searching for a key, searching for a piece of musical paper, or you're searching for things to progress the game, and you're so hell-bent on what your next mission is to progress further because they don't make it easy, that when something does pop up and scream, you're not in the same place. You're hell-bent on, I need this key. Oh, hang on, I think it's in this room. And as you walk out a corner, like there was one yesterday, this big bald woman just pops up and screamed in my face. I nearly left my chair. It was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I think
your spirit was there.
Yeah.
I think one that sticks out for me was Resident Evil 2. I think it was like coming towards out of the mansion, you go into like the outer building, but you're looking for a key. And you're going through the whole room, and then suddenly you come to this wardrobe, and you click to open the wardrobe, and it does that. So, and then suddenly this zombie comes just charging out.
Yeah,
and that I can recall that playing that in the dark, and that was one of my shit.
Yeah, I think the first Resident Evil had the dogs jump through the window at one point, and yeah, that was what got me addicted to horror games. Was that entire the thing with the zombie does the look, and I was like, whoa, that's creepy. And then the dogs coming through the windows, and those games got progressively scarier for a while.
It's like the first Resident Evil, when they go into the mansion, they're doing the talk, and then you can actually turn around and you go back to the front door and you can open it. And as it opens, the dog comes out to the door, doesn't it, and tries to bite. Yeah. So
what about this then, Beardo? Would you do it VR headset on?
I would do it, but my wife won't let me do it in this room. Because I mean, we were watching people VR fails, and they've punched holes in these screens, and they've not even horror games. Sometimes they're doing like a tightrope walk, and when they fall, they actually fall in real life because their brain, their senses are telling them they're on a tightrope, and they know it's VR, but their brain doesn't, and they'll fall flat on their face, and you'll see like the remote stuck in a TV or in a kid's head or something. And my wife is like, you were not taking a VR out there with all of that expensive stuff and then breaking it all, because I will.
Oh, brilliant. So
what would you say? Sorry, Rob. I was just going to ask, what would you say is the scariest game that you've played? Out of all of them that you played, which is your like top one?
A game called Summer of '58 by Amiga Games.
I've not heard of it.
Basically, it's the same guy that made the two I played yesterday, and you play a solo ghost hunter in this abandoned boys' military camp, and you just got to investigate if it's haunted, and you play the character that doesn't believe in ghosts, and holy shit. The jump scares in it are next level. There's one of my most famous clips on when I used to have TikTok and on Twitch was this. There's a music box you got to pick up on a toilet, and as you pick it up, something drips. And I looked up with the character, and this thing jumped me out of the ceiling, and I was gone. I literally had to pause the video and collect myself after it.
Yeah, that's me.
So I've got before we wrap up the show, I've got a 2-minute clip of your best bits of your jump.
Here we go.
Which is quite amusing, and I think that scene in the toilet is there where it comes down at you. So.
Nice today. Tell somebody you love them, or comment on somebody's video. Have a great day. Just something somewhere to make someone feel a little bit better. Much love to you all. Beardo out.
See it.
Look, Ghosty, can you play with this thing? Really, please. I don't know how it works.
I can't see anything through. Oh, what's this? Oh, it's flashed. What? It's in the corner. It's behind you. It's in front of you. It's somewhere. It's bold.
I think it killed me. We're getting you out of the way. Then put it back. Annie was not okay, chat. Annie was not okay. Fucking hell! You dickhead! Lift off a fucking chair! Idiot!
Chat, we've had an accident!
Not up here. I haven't had an EMF.
No, it's a bit colder up here. It's dropped to 12 degrees in here.
That's new. That's the outfit. He's in there. Put the knife. It's been a while. I'm interested. Juggler with scalpel. Right, scalpels are in there. Tube. Oh, fuck!
That was great.
Nando, did you jump at one point in there? Because I saw you go backwards.
Yeah, I saw the top of his head jump.
Oh dear. It's so much fun investigating with Nando. The slightest little thing and he's gone.
I can only see his hair.
It's like we were saying before, you get so drawn into what's going on. You know, when something happens, I think it was the scene with the toilet where you pick up the box and there's something on the ceiling and then it's suddenly... I jumped because I'm there. I'm in the screen actually watching what's going on more than I was watching your reactions. I was like, watching what you were doing.
Yeah,
But
that was Summer of '58. The three of the games there: Mortuary Assistant, Summer of '58, and what was the other one? There was another one that Visage or Visage. Incredible games and so scary.
You can see the concentration in your face there, and then when
Yeah.
your reaction, 1 minute it's like coming your mouth like you're shocked, and it was that your missus that was screaming in the background?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheza Doodle that stayed with us this weekend. She's also another one of our mods, or the mod, along with Mrs. Geek on Twitch. She made that clip. It's the first time she's edited something together like that, and she did such a good job of it as well.
It was brilliant. And you got any more of those sort of clips coming up? Like, you doing any more of these?
Loads.
Any new games coming up that you're looking at doing?
I'm thinking of this weekend replaying a game called Madison, because that's another one that it was. Not only did it terrify me, but the story was so good on it. It was such a well-made game, but the jump scares on it. I mean, independent horror games are so good now, and they're so cheap. I mean, you can pick up Phasmophobia for like a tenner. And it's got so much replayability. But then the Amiga games, they're quite short games. They're about an hour. Some of them are 2 hours. But they're £6. And it's like, that's £6 well spent when I've spent £40 on a game that I've put on. And it's like, oh, this is broke. I've got to wait for an update. You're having a laugh. And then these guys have got devs working on them constantly, and they're updating the games. And it's like, I paid Phasmophobia, I paid £6 or £10 for 3 years ago. And they are still constantly developing the game, adding stuff in there, taking stuff out, and this new update on your game is broke, and then the next day is fixed. Whereas I bought Cyberpunk 2077 or whatever that pile of garbage was called, and it's never worked. And it's like, I paid £60 for that, or £40, whatever it was. And then I can go and spend £6 on an Amiga game, which is shorter, but it's brilliant, you know? And it works.
Definitely. That was definitely a great number of clips there. And, seeing your reactions is quite funny. It is funny.
Yeah, people do enjoy the jump scares. I mean, originally, that's what my channel was gaming clips from Call of Duty and then horror games. And then I was doing sort of Twitch advice as I was growing. I was giving, telling people what I was doing, what equipment I used, things like that. And nobody watched it. And now that I'm more well known for debunking and paranormal, people are like, where's the gaming videos? It's like, nobody wanted to watch these a year ago. But so, it's a nice crossover to have the horror gaming in with paranormal. It does bleed through. I think if I played Fortnite on YouTube, everyone would be like, I'm not watching that. This is garbage,
No, definitely. What for yourself, what have you got coming up with your channel? Is there anything that you can tell us that we can look forward to seeing from you?
Obviously, I'm going back to my haunted hotel on a Debunkers special Wednesday. They're allowing me to film for my own video as well, which is really cool of them. I've got 3 paranormal investigations filmed that I've still got to edit. I've got the tunnel with Mr. Grey to do, Return to the Castle to do, and what was the other one? Oh, the one I was editing yesterday where we went, it was a mining disaster, and they've done this beautiful memorial for it. We went there because Dean went there a couple of years ago and had a weird experience. So we went back to see if, there was any sort of weird feelings or anything. And it was one of the hardest investigations that I did because of respect. It was like, this is a memorial. And at one point, I went to put my EMF down on the memorial. I was like, I can't put that there. That could be disrespectful to people. And right, we'll keep stuff away off the memorial, but close-ish. And we need to be careful how we speak in. And then there's a section in it where I got really angry with... it wasn't GhostTube, it was a different app. We tried a different app and it kept saying demonic scratched. And I was like, this doesn't relate to this place at all. There's nothing demonic here. 112 people lost their lives in a tragic accident, and this app is spitting out this made for YouTube garbage, and I got really, really angry with it. And then we tried a different app, and I was like, it's doing the same thing. And I think I say in that video, we are not using these apps anymore because, you know, going somewhere like that, I debated whether even to put the video out, and I'm like, I will do, and I'm going to keep the app section in there just so people can see how wide of the mark it was, because nothing related to what was there at all.
Wow. I think that's good for you to keep it in the video, because then you can show people that it's not working the way it should be based on the location where you're at.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good thing to show people, because in a way it's educating them how to do things the right way, like when they are doing things. So
yeah, a big thing for us was trying to be respectful, and it was only hard because I was like, I felt off investigating there, but then at the same point, it's like, as long as we are respectful to what happened there, because my grandfather was a miner, and sadly it was asbestos poisoning that killed my grandfather from working in the mines. And I'm like, so I can relate a little, because South Wales was built on mining, you know, we're all mining villages. So it was like, we'll investigate a completely different way here. And, you know, when names were coming out, we were checking these plaques, because all 112 names there, not one of them matched up with the app. And I'm like, these apps are garbage, I'm not using them.
No, I get what you're saying, definitely.
Yeah. So I just want to say, we're going to Ancient Ramin, is it?
Ancient Ramin.
Yeah, I'd love it. I haven't been there, but it's on. I've been asked to go there with 2 different teams. And me and Purple are looking at going there with the ideal scenario would be Mr. Grey, Purple, myself, and the Ouija brothers. All of us go there, and then all of us investigate with, you know, because, you know, the Ouija brothers, they know what they're doing. They've been doing it for 5 years. They've got all the equipment. They don't overreact to it and stuff. And then there's other channels I want to go out with that I haven't got around to yet. I'm going out with Dorset Paranormal in August, and I'd love to do something like the Ancient Ramin with like Dorset Paranormal. A channel called Connecting to Afterlife were kind enough to take me to East Drive, and I'm like, right, how much is it? And they, no, we just want you to come and experience it because we know you've got. And I'm like, really? I was like, I don't know if I can accept that. You know, it's too kind a thing. But then when teams reach out to me and say, right, we've got this investigation, or, you know, not even a paid one, Dorset Paranormal, we don't even know where we go in. Or like iConjure have said, look, we'd love to work with you one day. We'll take you out. And yeah, brilliant. It for paranormal teams to say to me, we want you to come out with us, means a lot, considering what I mostly do on my channel. And to me, it adds credibility to them that they are happy to take me out, knowing full well that if I see something that's not where it should be, I'm going to call it out.
Yeah.
There's a team emailed me and they were like, oh, we'd love for you to come on an investigation. I'm like, do you really want me to come out with you? What do you mean? It's like, I've watched your videos. Do you really want me to come out with you? I won't say who it is. And they were like, yeah. I'm like, all right, but I'll catch you. I will catch you. And if I don't catch them live, then I'll put a video out, and then it's gone silent, which is fair enough. And at some point, I'll feature them on the channel because they were trying to get a debunker on side to give them, because a lot of people are saying that debunkers are because the numbers are growing and the interactions are growing and stuff. The people are starting to worry about debunkers, and some people are like, if we get them on side, then it adds a bit of you know, we are good, you know, and it's like, yeah, and that could bite you on the ass. And there's other teams that have asked me to go out, and absolutely, I'll go out with them. In fact, I'd go out with anyone. If Smug Puppy asked me to go around his house and investigate, I would. Just to go in and be like, right, where's it? Every day you get something. Where's this demon? Throw something at me, scratch me, kick me, pull me down the stairs, come at me, because it's not there. But yeah, there's some teams I'm not going to name anyone because it'll bring sort of heat on you guys, but there are some teams that I wouldn't go out with because they are so disrespectful to properties and to people's beliefs that I'm like, I couldn't, because I'd get into trouble being with them. It'd be like, do you remember that episode where you did this? Disgusting. And I'd get myself into trouble.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough.
It would be funny as well.
Imagine the content.
It would be great content to watch, and then
Imagine the next video of Beardos, Weirdos, Boils and Ghouls, and I got an eye out there. What happened? Well, I went on an investigation with X channel. I called him fake, and he smacked me in the eyeball.
Brilliant. Well, if we get anything interesting come up, then we'll email you and see if you want to come with us. So
absolutely.
You know,
I'm gonna look at them scratches again, though.
That's fine. You go for it. Go for it. I don't mind.
That's what I like. That's what I like. I love him. I've had people email me like, "Can you look at this video?" And I'm like, "Right, I can tell you exactly what that is." And they're like, "Right, that's all I needed." Like, what do you mean? Oh, well, my kids are actually terrified that we've got a ghost in the garage. And I'm like, "Oh no, it's literally a cobweb coming past your security camera." And they're like, "Oh, thank you very much. You've put my kids' mind at ease and all the rest of it because they believe you." And I'm like, "All right. Oh, right. I thought you were trying to get me to like say, 'Oh, you've got a ghost. Look at the debunker.'" And it wasn't the case. It was like, "Can you help my family?" But they didn't want to word it like that because they think that I'll come across, or they'll come across as like there's something wrong with them. And it's like, no, people misconstrue things, and it's not on purpose. Fear is real, you know.
So it's a good thing what you do in a way then, because you're helping people that are actually genuinely scared about what's going on, and if you can debunk it sort of puts people's mind at ease as well. So
it's I would love to be able to go to a family, say, right, my house is haunted, we are terrified, can you come to the house? I would love to go there, and I'd love to go there with like Purple and Steve and Griff with all of the equipment and then some extra bits that I think we could take with us, and then check the boiler for carbon monoxide, because a little bit of carbon monoxide can do a lot of damage to your mental health and auditory hallucinations. Even high EMFs can cause hallucinations. So if you've got bad wiring in your house, then that can cause audio and visual hallucinations. And to be able to go to a family house and say, actually, you need to get the gas people out, you know, you get somebody called you registered, you've got a gas leak. Or even the funhouse effect, your landing's not quite straight. You're getting freaked out because you're slightly tilted and your brain and your equilibrium is all over the place. Just things like that. And then hopefully go to one of these houses and be like, actually, you may have some in here. That would be ideal, would be to come out of there and like, shit, I think they've got a ghost.
Yeah.
I'd love to be able to find it. But to be able to put people at ease would be amazing. And I've done it to a degree. Some of the channels that I've debunked that people were pumping money into, and then they come to me and they're like, "You were a piece of shit. How dare you say this is fake?" And then a month later, I'll get an email off them. "I can't believe I put all that money into that channel. And I've just seen it for myself." They wouldn't take my word for it. But then there's a channel that were doing really well. I kept debunking and debunking and debunking them because I was like, people are pouring money into this. And the final nail in the coffin for them wasn't me debunking them. It was their own audience going, "Hang on, that Beardo guy said about masking and stuff. That's what's happened with that cupboard door. He was right. Oh, hang on, you've taken the video down. That's all." And then that's nothing to do with me then. That was their own audience seeing exactly what I had been shouting about for months. And then going, and so many of them came in and apologized to me. And I was like, yeah, fine. You're welcome in the community. Absolutely, you are. As long as you're not a complete dick about it. Because some people, oh, wow.
Yeah.
They really don't like me.
You must get some flack for what you do then. And does it get to the point where it's too much, where you've got to points where you think this isn't worth it anymore and you're debating about stepping away from doing it? Or is it something that you're just going to continue doing, and if people like it or not?
I'll continue doing it. I've had people dox me. They put like a little poem in my chat giving my full name and address, like trying to hide it, but to say, "I know who you are." I've had I've had 2 death threats, and I've had another guy say, "I know exactly where you live. I can see your house from across the estuary of the River Severn." So I can't even see the River Severn from where I am. I know I'm in Wales, but it's a big country when you think about it. I live nowhere near the River Severn, so no, you can't see me. Don't be. But yeah, I do get a lot of abuse, for want of a better word. But that's because I'm trampling on people's idols. I'm telling them that what they've believed and put money into for 2 years is fake.
Yeah.
And
No,
I understand it to a degree, but there are some people that will come in and they will argue with me constructively. And even if they are wrong, I can accept that and I can appreciate that they are looking out for people that they support. I can accept that. But when they're coming in and they're like, "You fat POS, I hope you have a car accident," and I'm like, right, that's going a bit far, because there was a guy did a live stream and basically said, "I hope you die in a car crash." I was like, that was a bit strong. That's a bit much. You're faking, not me.
But the thing with the paranormal, would you agree that the paranormal is a very controversial industry? Like, you got to accept that people are going to debate your evidence either way. If it's a debunker or anyone, you just got to go with the flow with it, haven't you? Because you can't.
It's not even the paranormal, if you think about it. It's YouTube in general. You go and watch a gamer, and you watch some of the comments. Somebody like Tim the Tatman, where people are in his chat and they're like, "You fat idiot, you suck at Fortnite. I hope you, croak it." And it's like, over a video game. Or the paranormal is far more divisive, because you've got a very broad spectrum of, I believe absolutely everything is demonic and they're all coming to kill me, to nothing. It's all a bunch of hocus pocus and people with illnesses. And then you've got that massive grey area in between. And to the most part, I appeal to the grey area because I'm not a complete skeptic. I'm not. I can't be. I've experienced too much.
Yeah.
But then I'm very skeptical of YouTube videos because they're designed for clicks and views. And I had some guy on my 30s Drive video. He's like, "I can't believe I just sat through 40 minutes of that and nothing happened. How dare you call it real paranormal?" Because that's how the real paranormal is. Guaranteed, if the doll had fallen down the stairs, it'd have been, "You faked that."
It's like when we do an investigation, we do like a live stream throughout the whole investigation, and we do put cameras up in different locations, and we just leave it running for the whole time that we're there. So if something happens, it happens. But you know what? A lot of the times, it's very minimal stuff that happens, but we keep it on there so people can see that that's how the investigation is sort of being done, and that's how we try and show how we do things.
Yeah, and it's the best way to do it. I mean, by all means, people can jazz up what they put up onto YouTube to a point. If you want to do a big bombastic intro with B-roll footage and creepy imagery and all the rest of it, go for it. Throw everything at it, see what sticks, by all means. But the second you say this is a paranormal investigation or this is real, that's that cut-off point there. And that's where you go into, right, how can we best portray what is really happening here? Unless you're going to pull a wire that's attached to a door with your foot or kick a table leg. And
yeah, I get that. Yeah, it's a hard one, isn't it? It's
yeah, and the problem is that the YouTube paranormal audience has spent so long watching Ghost Adventures, Mindseed, the Crayola Kids, and all of these teams where week after week after week, multiple huge paranormal events, that they think that every paranormal channel is then going to have that. And then they'll watch the real guys and go, "Oh, this is crap."
Yeah.
It's like, no, but unfortunately, that's how it works. We said it earlier. I don't know if it was when we were recording or the brief conversation before, but I was like, we spend 6 hours a night talking to walls, expecting them to talk back to us.
Yeah.
That's what a paranormal investigation is. I mean, if you can go out and you can get a couple of things happening a night, fair play. But I've not seen it myself. I've seen some incredible things from other channels as well. I've seen some things where I'm like, that potentially is paranormal and at least it's real. And people have sent me video you know, I'm looking at something and I'm like, oh, I don't know about that. All right, we'll send you the uncut raw footage, and they'll send me a 2-hour video file. And then 9 times out of 10, I don't think I've got to look then. Because if they've sent me that 2-hour video file, chances are it's going to show exactly what I've seen on the screen. It's raw. Other people have said, I'll send you the raw video files, and they've sent me very heavily edited video files, and I can see it on, they've screen recorded their editing software, and I'm like, what's all these bars? You're only supposed to have one. Why is there these red boxes of stuff that's been taken out? Because I use the same video editing software.
It's the reason why I live. He debunks all of these people that say, okay. But no, I think it's great what you do. You know, and I think the way you do it is also quite fun as well. Like you bring laughter with it and everything. So that's cool.
If I don't have fun with it, it becomes anger and finger pointing, and a lot of people. I mean, I've been called a bully, and I'm like, I'm not a bully. I'm trying to have fun, and yeah, I'm having fun at your expense. But you're lying to your audience. So if you're going to lie to your audience, I'm going to show them the truth and laugh at you when I do it. All right, I take things a bit far on occasion. I have said things that I probably shouldn't have. But when I record something and I've laughed to myself, I'm like, that's staying. And then 2 days later, it's like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have. You should see the stuff I cut out.
So you should do that, like the never seen before, like do clips of that of stuff that you've cut out.
I'd like to, but I know exactly what would come from. I delete that stuff because if I'm ever tempted, it's going to get me into trouble because I struggle because it's an assault on my beliefs. I'm really passionate about it. And because there are legitimate teams going out there, putting all of their spare time, all of their money to walk away with not many views, not many likes and all the rest of it, it really, really annoys me. And then I'm watching these videos. Sometimes I'll delete an entire video and then start it again and be like, right, let's get the uplifting, let's take the piss, let's get the piss off, go spray out and stuff like that, because it angers me. You know, somebody sat in their house for 4 years now pretending there's a demon of Vlad the Impaler haunting him. And I'm looking at the comments where people are sending hopes, prayers, and £200 donations. I hope this helps. Demon don't want money. What's Vlad going to do with it? He can't go and buy a bag of chips, can he? You got no stomach for it.
So there's a good question from JB. Do you think most haunted fake their investigations?
Absolutely.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
I believed them. I believed them for a long time. I was so enthralled with it, and it was only when I started going out and I'm like, why can't I have that? Where's my knocks on command? And it's like, you know. And then I saw a video where a vet kicked a table leg and people screamed and run. Excuse me. And I'm like, that's kind of ruined that. And then obviously there was all the Derek Acora stuff. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
The only thing from that channel that was real that I still enjoy is Kieran O'Keefe. I think the guy is brilliant. To have the balls to go on that show for as many years as he did and every week go against the audience and go, nah, that wasn't a ghost. That was a draft. That wasn't a ghost. That was, and then to out Derek Acora on TV and them to allow that to be shown, I was like, fair play to him. You know, he's obviously got a real vested interest in it as a debunker. I mean, he's the first famous debunker I can think of.
We've got breaking news just in as well. The twins almost died again last night.
Oh my God. Somebody wants to wrap them pair in bubble wrap. Get a wet wipe and wipe that writing off their heads. and see, that's where I'll get into trouble, is a little comment like that. And I've got friends with tattoos on their faces. And when I've said to them, does your mother come past you with a tissue, lick it and rub your head? They laugh at it, you know? I'm not trying to be horrible. It's not like I'm not really heavily tattooed myself. You know, 10 years ago, I had dreadlocks and a face full of piercings. I had one guy come in and say, you're arguing with Twin Paranormal because of the way I look. They look. And I'm like, right, look at my profile banner. I've recently changed it. You're saying I'm taking the piss out of their hair. That profile banner, half of my hair is blue and the other half is red. and I'm covered in. I look like I could be an extra on their episodes at times. It's not their appearance; it's the way they investigate, or they pretend to investigate.
Brilliant.
Brilliant.
Well, I just want to say we're wrap it up, but I want to say thank you very much, Beardo, for coming on.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
No, it's been brilliant.
It's been a good laugh. I think, the different angle to what we're used to.
Yeah.
I think, or something different to the show, because like we've said before, we've never done this sort of angle of like talking about debunking and talking about what's real, what's not real. So I thought that was really cool, and I like the getting into the gaming as well. I thought that was great gaming side.
Genuinely, I've been on 3 podcasts now, and not many people go deep into the debunking and then show some live things. What's that? And especially their own footage. And yeah, that was I really enjoyed that because it was different. I appreciate it.
If we're going to do it, we've got to do it properly.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
It was fun. I enjoyed it. I was nervous to start with. I said that to Rob last week.
Why?
He goes, guess who I got? And I was like, who? I got Beardo. And he was like, he's a debunker. And I was like, whoa, how's that going to be people? Do you know what? Because it's not something that I've done before. And I just thought, this has actually been great. I've really enjoyed it. And I thank you for, taking time out of your evening to have a chat with us and talk to us about what you do and what you've experienced in that. It's been great.
Yeah, I mean, I like obviously the guys that are in chat now, they didn't see it, but when we had a little private conversation and I was like, look, do you know what you're getting yourself into? Because if I say channel names and you were like, no, just go for it, just be honest. And I'm like, right, that I appreciate. Really do appreciate that.
Well,
I think what we find important is when we have guests on is about them and who they really are. There's no point having you on if we're going to ask you to disguise yourself. It's
true.
It's pointless chat. So it's been good fun.
And everyone knows that me and Zach don't get on because end of last year he tried to shut our channel down. I had a letter from his solicitors asking us to remove some footage that I had literally taken the mickey out of. So I did take it down because I didn't want to lose my YouTube channel. But yeah, so everyone knows that I don't give a shit what he says. So
biggest speaker in the world.
I'll hit him every time.
Go for it.
It's been a great chat.
It's been really enjoyed it. I appreciate it.
We'll put you in the green room and we'll chat once we've closed up.
Yeah, no worries, guys.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Cheers, mate. Thank you very much,
guys.
Peter. Cheers.
That was a great show.
What a lovely guy.
Thank you for everyone that's spent the evening with us speaking to Beardo. He's a great guy. His way of thinking and the stuff that he's told us, it makes you think about what you're doing on an investigation as well. When you think that you've picked up something, it's being mindful and looking around you and seeing if you can debunk what you think you've found before actually putting it down as paranormal. But
yeah,
it was a great chat.
I think it was good, and it was brave putting your own stuff up there. But do you know what? I have nothing to hide, and I welcome him to go and have a look. I just sit here now with bated breath and wait for my video to pop up. Fake, and then I die of a heart attack, But I just want to say thank you very much. It's your last show next week before you go on holiday, isn't it?
Yes, one more to go. I might make an appearance while I'm away in the following week, just to say hello to everyone. But if you haven't joined the Shadow Podcast page, do head over to the Facebook page as well. And then you'll see all upcoming guests that we have coming on. I think we've got a few planned right up until the end of September, maybe going into October.
I have my little list.
So we've got some great guests coming on from now and then. And
I think the one that's going to be interesting is going to be Patty Negri. So
yes, in September. So that's a good one. So if you want to follow us, it's the Shadow Podcast on Facebook. Give us a follow, and then we've got our own personal pages as well. So Big Rob, the Patrol Paranormal, also on Facebook and YouTube. And you on TikTok?
I am, yes.
Yes, on TikTok.
Unfortunately.
And then for me, I'm part of Portal to the Paranormal. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram as well. So yeah, feel free to give us a follow, and then you can see all the stuff that we're doing with our own teams and what we're also doing together. And then in September, me, Big Rob, his team, Ports of the Paranormal, will be heading up to the 30 East Drive for an investigation. So that'll be quite cool.
Yeah, we're taking MJ with us.
Yeah,
MJ Dixon, and Lex Paranormal. So it'd be good. Some good things coming up.
Definitely. But again, thank you to Beardo for tonight, and thank you for everyone that's watched.
His links are on the bottom of the screen. If you want to subscribe to his channel, it's well worth it. You get lots of content, and it's really good fun.
Cool. But until now, we'll see you all next week. Take care.
See you later, brother.
Bye.
Bye.